Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great. I hope you're having a great weekend so far. Welcome to this new video on Bitcoin. We'll talk a little bit about the current situation. There's not much going on. We did get some news which I wanted to talk about with you about. And we'll talk a little bit about next week, what to expect going into the week. I mean, obviously Sunday to Monday, volatility is to be expected. I'd have to say, though, that the volume right now for Bitcoin, it's around 47 billion over the course of the last 24 hours. It's not incredibly low. I mean, if you look at the weekend before this, it was sitting at around 28 billion dollars, right? So the liquidity is presumably a little bit higher as well. So I wouldn't necessarily expect the momentum we had going into Monday last week to happen again. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, because obviously it was quite bearish. But okay, so that is in general what to expect. Bitcoin itself has been relatively stable, right? I mean, you can see right now, if we plot the volume profile since Wednesday on the chart, you can see we're finding balance here between 100,700 with a stronger support level right here at 99,000, a yearly rolling VWAP. And then the main resistance level very much is 103,300. There we basically have all the confluences you need with the 382 fib of the last big move down, the 7-day rolling VWAP and the value area high. And we are basically just consolidating within that area. Over the course of the weekend, we barely had any movement. But I also doubt, when we're talking about the next 24 hours and when we're talking about the next market opening, which, like I said, it can be quite volatile, I doubt that it's going to be very volatile outside of this range. I mean, the thing is that these resistance levels we spoke about earlier, so 103,300 or 400, it's kind of the same area, and 100,700, they're both incredibly strong key zones, right? And you need some, we're clearly forming balance right there in that area for the last 5 days. Like you need some strong news, so you need some strong moves and strong momentum to break out of that. So I don't, look, I expect volatility within the range. I don't necessarily expect a breakout, at least not in the next 24 hours. Now later on in the week, yes. And that is very much going to depend on the fundamentals. I mean, last week, obviously the volatility index for the majority of the week rose quite a bit, so unrest was increasing. Then on Friday evening, we had a massive decrease in unrest, decrease in the volatility index. So it's going to be very interesting to see, and also crucial for, are we going to get a breakout or are we going to get a breakdown, is, okay, what does the volatility index do? And there's basically two things that I wanted to talk about in general regarding the fundamentals. And that's the US government shutdown, the probability of that taking longer than November the 12th or the 15th. That area, or at least that time period is getting bigger, right? So it looks like the shutdown is going on for longer. And I think that is one of the reasons why the volatility index has risen like it has last week, right? And this is something that very much happened over the course of the last 24 hours as well. So that's relatively bearish. But then on the other hand, to end with the positives, we also had this: China suspending a ban on exports of gallium, germanium, and antimony to the US. Those are rare earth minerals. This is a ban that they have created, or export controls that they created in December 2024. This is bullish development when we're talking about the whole rare earth mineral crisis between the United States and China, but also worldwide. It's just supply problems worldwide. Basically. So that is good news. We got some good news, we got some bad news. So what that means is that also means stability. Okay, so it looks a little bit more likely right now that there's some bearish pressure in the price. So I would say, short term, what do I expect? A move down into this level right here at 100,700. Maybe we'll spike down a little bit lower towards the value area low we created on Sunday, around 100,000. I don't think the fundamentals are bearish enough, and I also don't think the price in general is bearish enough to expect a breakdown. And I think in general we'll be able to hold some stability, and when we are talking about a breakout, which eventually that is going to happen, I would argue it's more likely, given the close of the fundamentals, or at least the latest development of the fundamentals, that is going to be a bullish breakout, also to fill some of the imbalances, major imbalances we have left between 105 and 106,000. So, but that's what I expect a little bit later. Ultimately, that is what I think you need to know going into next week. So hopefully it helps a little bit. Thank you for watching, everybody. Take care and bye.